Hello.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Angela.
Hi. How are you going?
How are you? I'm great. Excited about this one. Excited
I
to.
am as well, very much so.
Yes, if you guys remember, Angela and I spent an episode talking about her trip to the Galactic Starcruiser, and she was so convincing that I went ahead and I mean, if you watch this, I went ahead and I booked a trip myself to go experience the Galactic Starcruiser, and made me think how convincing we are during these chats, and how many of you guys have probably bought games or at least checked out games that we've talked about, or episodes of or shows that we've talked about in the chat. So if you've done that, let us know, because I'll be curious to know the impact. I know this lady has such an impact that I just booked a trip. uh,
Well, you're a huge Star Wars fan as well, so I can't wait to hear what you thought about it. You're actually a bigger Star Wars fan than I am, and
yes.
I'm a huge Star Wars fan myself, so I'm really looking forward to it. And we haven't discussed it, we should say, before this. This is like the first time we're talking about it.
Right. We wanted to share it with you guys to make it more real. And so we have not said a word to each other, other than I sent her a picture. But
Yeah,
that doesn't say much, right? But
yeah,
before we talk about the Galactic Star Cruiser or the Star Wars Hotel, last time we had a game. I guess the cover, and Angela put up a little picture, a little part of a cover of a game, and you guys had to figure out what game it was from. What game was it, Angela?
it was Animals on Board, which is a little
Awesome.
game that I used to play with my grandkids. It's adorable, and the cover art's super cute as well.
Super cute. And like I told you before, I love that you kept it thematic, because the last episode we were talking about games that featured animals, and then the
Yeah,
game also featured animals, so that was really cool.
yeah,
We're gonna have a game at the end of this episode, so stay
yeah.
tuned for that. But now it's time for Star Wars Hotel. All right, what do you want to know?
Well,
Everything.
yeah, I want to know everything. So from the beginning, like what you thought of the onboarding process. Were you as taken away with the magic as I was of getting on that shuttle? All that kind of thing.
Right. So I thought the whole process of boarding was excellent from the moment I got to actually even the gate, not even step foot on the actual landing pad or whatever, but at the gate, the security guard stopped us and asked us if we had left our blasters at home and our lightsabers, and I thought that was like, oh my goodness, even this guy's in on it. And then we moved on to we got there. There's valet parking. There's no self parking, so they take your car, so you don't even know where your car is for the next 2 days, which
Yeah.
is great. Your personal transport, actually, I should say. And then you get like a really short video telling you like emergency things and stuff, and then you get into this launch pad, and it is like amazing. Like you feel like you're going up in space, and you see, like you mentioned, the trees, and then you don't see the trees anymore, and there's Arabic everywhere, and I'm trying to decipher all of the words before we get there. But I think my favorite part was when they opened the shuttle doors, and you get to see how big the hotel is, because the pictures and the videos don't do it justice, at least when you
Yeah.
first come in, and you see how white and how futuristic, like I know it was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but it just it just looks so pure, and so
Yeah.
immediately I felt like I'm not on Earth.
Yes.
Like what happened? What I mean, it's crazy. So I thought it was great. Everybody was. Oh, and the magic bands are beautiful. I didn't
Yeah,
expect.
really cool. And they're special, aren't they? You only get them if you're on the cruiser.
Yeah, and they have your name in the back, which if you're a pass holder, you get that too. But I called on the phone, and I asked, or on one of the phone calls, I was like, can I use my own magic band, because I have a BB-8 magic band, so I wanted to use it. Brought it with me, but when I saw the one she pulled out, I'm like, forget a BB-8 next time.
Oh,
So
so
that was
good.
cool. And then we went straight to food,
Yeah.
because
Most people do that, don't they? That's what
yeah,
we did as well.
Yeah, we because the bags weren't even in the room yet. We went to the cabin, but the bags. Oh, and the cabin
Oh,
is it was incredible and much bigger than I had imagined that it was. And again, the videos don't make it justice because what I saw in the videos was these little cruise cabins, and I even asked you last time, are those
yeah.
comfortable? Because it doesn't seem like there's enough room. Um, but I was very impressed with the bathroom, for example, the shower.
Oh, really good, right?
It had like a head thing going down, and then a
Yep.
handheld. Um, the shampoo smelled delicious. uh,
And you got to
uh,
keep that, right? You took the tin.
I took the tin. There was a
Yeah.
there was a little board saying you can take the tin home. So
Yeah.
that I did. I didn't even use it. I didn't even open it. Like I want to keep
Yeah,
it
I
the way
didn't
it is.
either. Yeah.
Um, but the cabin was great, and then you go in there and you see space out the window. Like
Yes.
I'm like, what is this? I had a lot of interactions with the droid in the room because you mentioned she was very chatty. So every
Yeah.
opportunity I had, whenever I went back to the room, even just to use the restroom, I would press the button and check in on her
Yeah.
and get a new story. So that was really cool. I won't spoil it now. We'll do spoilers later. But there was a few moments with her even that I thought were great. Um,
Yeah.
food was delicious.
Oh,
Uh,
wasn't the food good? Like, yeah, I was
I
really
was
impressed with the food.
impressed with the trays. They,
Yes. Didn't you want to take them home? That was so cool.
yeah, yeah, the trays are like these flat little things that have just enough space for either one big plate where they serve the food or two small ones. They had different containers, different ceramic containers. I don't know, ceramic, plastic, or whatever they were. But you had to kind of. It was like a little puzzle that you had to do every time
Yeah.
you eat. Where do I put this to accommodate the most food that I can on my tray?
Yeah.
And of course, you can go back and get more. But I thought even that was clever. Um, and I didn't know, you didn't tell me, and I don't, maybe I'll do this in spoiler, but there's a special drink that you can get as part of you have all the drinks you want and all the food you
Yeah.
want. But there was a special drink two special drinks that I was not expecting. And I'm like, wait a minute, there's this. I'll tell you what it is later. I don't want to
Oh,
spoil it
maybe I
for
don't know this, Annabelle. I'm looking forward to hearing what that
you.
was. Maybe I missed it myself.
No, I'm pretty sure you drank some of it. Non-alcoholic. So yeah, and then after that, we did a couple of activities because it wasn't 4 o'clock yet. It starts right on at four.
Yeah.
So I went to check on the data pad. I went on my first mission. Um, kind of like I looked at there's a console. There's consoles everywhere that you can access, and you can do a couple of things. Not that much, or at least I didn't do much, but you can do a couple of things. So I took advantage of that. Um, and then the story started, and I was impressed with the acting. I
Yeah.
was really impressed with how these adults dressed in costumes were actually, it looked like they were believing every word they said, so I ended up believing it. you know
Yeah. Yeah. And it
um,
was interesting. Like I said to you before, you mentioned you sent one photo, and your captain was different to the lady that was our captain. I mean, they looked the same, but it was a different lady. So
yeah,
they obviously, like you mentioned, they must swap out. But
yeah,
aren't they good? Like the cast.
amazing. And there's not a
Yeah.
lot of cast. There's the captain,
Yeah.
there's the director of the ship,
Hmm.
there is a famous entertainer. I'm not going to say anything else. The
Yeah.
manager of the famous entertainer. There is a mechanic that has a lot to do with the story. And then there is a music player, somebody that plays music,
Yeah.
and actually two people that play music
Yeah.
on board. That's it. I mean, and then there's special characters, but I'm not even going to talk about those right now.
Yeah.
Um, well, there's and then that's on the light side of the force, and on the other side, on the dark side of the force, you get a lieutenant and a couple of stormtroopers, a few stormtroopers.
Yeah. That's what I was saying to you. If you were going to go light or dark, remember I said there's not that many people to interact with on the dark side.
Correct.
Um, but wasn't he good?
Oh, he was
Like
awesome.
assuming he was the same guy or similar to the guy that we had, he was very entertaining.
Mine was really more of a serious kind of guy, but I just loved how um, they answer back. Like no matter what you say, they always have a comeback. How clever, how quick. I can't think that quick. And how they remember things. Like there was one character that I interacted for like maybe 5 minutes, not even. And he was up there and I was all the way down here. And then later that night, he approached me and asked me something. And I'm like, wait, you remember it was me that talked to you for like a second?
Right.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that's how we wondered whether the Magic Band was somehow tied to like an earpiece or something that they had, because we just couldn't get over that they remembered everything. It was mad.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It was really crazy. What else? Let's talk about some of the negatives, at least for me.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
And I know somebody asked about this. I think it was I don't know his name, but from Played Had Games.
Oh, was it Jamie Stegmeyer from Stonemeyer Games? Because he was thinking of going. Yeah.
Right, correct. He asked about this. He asked about going with kids or without kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do think that it puts you in a big advantage to go with kids.
Yeah.
Because most characters on the ship are going to go for the kids first. And
there's a few things that are like specific to the kids as well, isn't there?
Even the regular missions, I just felt like if there was a kid around, they'd be like, "You, little kid, do this for me," and I'm like, "But I wanted to do it."
Yeah.
And even one time when I tried to follow a bunch of kids down to a mission, when I got down there and they talked for a little bit, I felt completely ignored. I'm like, okay, well, I'm leaving. So I just
no.
Yeah, so that part, yes. And I even filled out a survey, and was one of the things that I said. It's like it's great that I love that you're dealing with the kids, because I think it's important, right?
Yeah.
But it leaves the adults a little bit on the sidelines.
Yeah, which is odd, right? Because I mean, most Star Wars fans, I would say, like hardcore Star Wars fans, we're a little bit older. We're not kids.
Right.
Because we've had it for all those years. So yeah, that is a shame. I did think that. I actually discussed it with my wife, saying, I hope that Annabelle enjoys it because she doesn't have the kids, and a lot of the magic that we had on board, obviously when I discussed it with you, was through the eyes of my grandkids, seeing the magic through them, and it would get me bubbling. And yeah,
I mean, I did enjoy it. I'm not gonna say I didn't enjoy it, but I think I'm also very shy. Social issues, so I'm not one to jump in, and I'm also very respectful. So if there was a moment when we met the captain where I was, I was kind of waiting for my turn, and when it was my turn and she turned to me, she said 2 words to me, and then a kid came over and boom, she went to the kid. And I'm like, oh, great. But then she came back. But if she wouldn't have come back, I wouldn't have pursued it. I would have just okay. And the way she came back was because the person that was with me asked, I think the kid wanted to take a picture or something. And so she was like, can I take a picture of you guys? So she took the picture. So because she took the picture, then the captain was like, oh, let me now talk to you guys. But see, I would have done that because I just oh, okay, she's talking to the kids, move on. So those are the kind of things that I was a little that I wish that they involved the adults more, because we also want to be part of the experience. But of course, the kids they have no shame and they have no social boundaries. So they just run and interrupt and blah, 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 and then you have to pay attention to them. You're not going to ignore them. But that's a minor thing. I still think that there was so much to do that I don't think I missed out. I mean, I missed out on a lot because there's a lot to do, but I never stopped. It was nonstop.
It's full on, isn't it? Yeah.
I was dead both nights, completely exhausted, to the point where at night, the first night, I don't know if you got this or not, well, you'll tell me in spoilers, I got a message that there was a mission that I could do. And I was wearing my pajamas, and I'm like, a mission now? Somebody else do it. So that's how tired I was, because I know that if I wouldn't have been, I'd be like, okay, I'm exhausted, but I'm going to go do it because I'm never going to get a chance to do it again. And this looks like a cool mission, but I was too exhausted.
Yeah,
And then
there's definitely a lot going on, isn't there? Something that I don't think I mentioned about the cabin as well, wasn't it cool that you could shut the blast shield so that the
it,
screen wasn't on?
I think it was not only cool, but necessary because there was no way that I could have slept with it
Yeah,
was too many lights everywhere. So yeah,
yeah,
but
there's a lot going
that
on.
was cool. Yeah, and the fact that it changed, like we went through a special thing. I'm not going to mention what it is, big
Yeah,
spoilers. And the screen, you saw it on the screen. I'm like, oh, okay, well that's. And then things happened during the trip, and you could see it on your window on your
yeah.
cabin. Like,
I know we're
like
saying screen, we should be saying out the window of the spaceship.
right, but it's not even a window. What would be the porthole? Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's a
I don't know what the
pretty big porthole.
or I don't know what the right word for that would be. The viewfinder? I have no idea.
View view screen? No, not view screen. Yeah, window.
Window. The window is fine. Okay. My space window. The trip to Back 2 was fun. You did mention that we were going to get a little bit of special treatment because we were
Mhm.
wearing that pin, which, by the way, the pin is lovely.
Oh, it's
Loved the
beautiful,
pin.
isn't it?
And yeah, we did get a little bit of that. Sometimes there was a time where I felt very disappointed because it was my first mission, and I was supposed to go on one of the rides and do a mission there, and the data pad said, "Tell the crew that you've done this or that." And I went
Okay.
over to one of the crew members when I click on the thing to get in the ride, and I told her, and she was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like,
Oh,
"What?"
that's weird.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Wow.
like, okay, I guess fine. I mean, the data pad knew that I had done it because of the Wi-Fi, I guess. They knew exactly when I had gone on the
Yeah.
rides and stuff. But I expected a little bit better from that one crew member.
Right? Yeah.
But the rest of them were really good, and some of them did were like did recognize that we had come from the Halcyon or the Starcruiser, and that was kind of cool. I definitely can tell you, I've been to Hollywood Studios. I've been to back to or to the Star Wars area many times, maybe 5, 6, 7 times. I don't know. And this time around, I saw it with totally different eyes. Totally
Yeah.
different eyes. It was a totally different experience. I loved it. It was more than I could have asked for. It did not compare to any other time that I've been on Bat2. So that was really cool.
And did you stayed within the confines of Batu when you were there? Yeah, we did that as well.
Yeah, there's no reason to go anywhere else. You have so
Yeah.
much to do on Bat2. There's like I did maybe 25% just because I was so tired because I get lost really quickly, so I kept losing my.
Same.
Yeah, even though you have a map that actually shows where you are on Back 2, so you can kind of track it, but it was a little bit delayed, so it didn't work out great. But I still got lost. But it was still really really cool experience. I went back early because a lot of people suggested to go back early to take pictures and to eat. I ate like literally that day. I had breakfast. Then then after that, I ate it back too at one of the restaurants. You get credit per person, but there was two of us, so we ate at one of the restaurants, one meal and a drink, an alcoholic drink, and then we went to another restaurant and had another meal, another alcoholic drink, and then I went to the ship and I ate again, and then dinner.
But you don't want to miss out either, do you? And the
No,
food was just so delicious.
I had to try everything. I had to try
Yeah.
everything. Um, the snacks at the sub lounge were delicious and so beautiful. Like I
Do
could
you know,
not believe.
I missed them. I don't think I had any of those snacks. I did see them in the lounge, but I was stuffed. I mean, yeah, you don't go hungry, that's for sure.
Never. I was never hungry. I gained 4 pounds. You can tell. Well, you see, here's my mistake because I don't ask. Should have asked. I knew there were special snacks because your daughter had given me the message.
Mhm.
So my ears, my antenna were like, where are the snacks? Where are the snacks? Ding, 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 ding. So they told us when we first arrived, and they gave us like a little tour, and they went by guest relations, and they told us there were going to be snacks there later. So I thought those were the snacks. So I waited until they put the snacks out, and I grabbed one of each. Those were not the snacks.
Oh, see, I don't think I saw the snacks. I don't think I saw them.
So if you guys go to the Star Cruiser, don't fall for those snacks. Those snacks are for kids. They weren't bad, but they were not the snacks. You have to go to the place where the sabacc table is, to the sublight lounge, I believe it's called,
Ah,
and
yeah,
then you have to ask, and they'll give you a menu. Because usually you just get drinks there. It looks like a bar. But if you ask, hey, you guys have snacks? They're all included. You don't have to pay extra, and they'll bring you a menu with I think it's like 6 different snacks, out of
yeah.
which I tried only 3 because the first day I ate the wrong snacks.
Yeah, I failed on that one, Annabelle. So you had more than me. I did not know that. I thought the snacks were the ones that you've mentioned, the ones that were in the thing. And then when Amanda mentioned the snacks, I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't get to have any of the good snacks.
Well, thank you, Amanda, for letting me know about the snacks, because there was one. I'll tell you about it in spoilers because I don't want to spoil it now.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah,
was a
Amanda
really
and Colin, they spent quite a bit of time in there because he was playing Sabacc on that cool Sabacc table. Did you use that yourself?
Yeah, I play. I only play with like 2 of the employees. Remember, my trip was underbooked. There
Yeah.
was probably about 150 people there. Um,
Okay.
maybe give or take. I didn't count them, right? But it was very underbooked. So, and I played on when came back from back two, so the place was empty, which I enjoyed because I only had to play with 2 players. I It's not my game. It's not for me. It's too
Hmm.
much math. But actually, at the sabacc table, the cool sabacc table, it was really easy because the table does everything, does the calculations for you. And this version of sabacc is a lot easier than the version that you get at Hollywood Studios, that
Okay.
you can buy at Disney Springs or Hollywood Studios. That version is super
Yeah,
complicated. This
because
one
there's
is
two
much.
different ones. I didn't realize that. I thought it was just one, but yeah, definitely two different ones.
Yeah, this one is a whole lot easier. Like kids can play it, kind of
Yeah,
easy. So I did get to play. It was fun. I only played a couple games because again, it wasn't the game for me.
yeah,
I'm used to heavier, more thinky board games, not just like okay,
yeah,
5 plus 5, 5 minus 5.
yeah.
So, but yeah, it was
That's
fun.
fair.
The first dinner was amazing. Uh, Great food. I could not believe the food that I was like. I expected, like maybe chicken and something like that, no. And the second night to have like the big something special.
Right? Yeah, that was
But
cool.
the fact that we got, first of all, we have food to feed a table of 5, um, and we were starving, so we ate the first course, and then when the second course came, which was delicious, I didn't have any room for it, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my god, and there's still dessert. Like, what am I gonna do? um, And then the second night, the dinner was even better. It was even more
Oh,
how they explained what planet the food came from, and
yeah,
then you see a bunch of like staff going out. It looked like an army of waiters just coming
yeah.
down with your food.
Really cool.
That was unbelievable. What else can I? What else do you want to know? What am I missing?
Oof, I'm trying to think back now. Um, so you did do quite a few missions on your phone or like on your data pad. You did do those, and
Yeah.
I assume you were impressed with how things tied together between the cast, that were acting and then the things that were happening on your phone. I'm assuming roughly the same thing would have happened with you where you've spoken to someone and then next thing you've got a message saying, it was nice to talk to you. Do you want to help me with this thing or whatever it was?
Right. I didn't get a lot of that. I didn't get a
Oh,
lot of I
okay.
talked to somebody and then I did a mission because again I didn't talk to a lot of people because the kids just took over.
Yeah.
But I did see the how the story intertwined, and there was one character that did approach me to do a secret mission, just like to meet with me personally and privately. Which then, of course, there were 6 of us, but
Yeah.
still pretty private. So that was really cool. But yes, I did see how one thing led to another. It was really smooth, really clear. The story was
Yeah.
easy to follow, even though there was a little bit of terminology that was ship terminology that I coaxium and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was pretty solid. Like it was, yeah, it was really smooth. And when the characters, the special characters came in, it made sense why they were there. It made sense how they got there. It
Yeah.
made sense how they got out. Everything, like, really, yeah. I'm trying not to spoil anything.
Yeah, that's right. We'll do spoilers in a minute, will we?
Yeah. We're gonna.
Because I really want to hear like what you did and how it differed from what I did. Like, it's not really a spoiler. I assume you did lightsaber training, which is just the standard thing that you do.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And even that was fun, right?
It was fun.
Like the
I
atmosphere of it.
right. I was going in thinking that I was going to fight other people,
Yeah.
and that didn't happen. But I understand why. I mean, safety.
Yeah, can you
Um,
imagine those kids in there if you were fighting other people? Oh my goodness.
yeah. So I understand why they did it the way they did it, and it was fun. I never stopped. Um, I wish it would have been a little bit more intricate, because
Yeah,
really the
very
stands were
basic.
really very simple stands. Like it wasn't. And then and after he teaches everybody and blah blah blah, he says, "Okay, now you can do whatever you want, like this." And he goes, "Blah, blah, 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 blah." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, I don't know how to do any of that. Can you
I want
slow
to
down?"
know.
I'm like, "That's not fair that you get to do all that." And I'm like, to the right, to the left, to the other side. What's up with that?
Yeah. It's funny though how like after we did that, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to buy one of those dueling sabers. You know, the ones that they're really thin and you can spin them?
Mhm.
You can get them online." And I was like, "I'm going to do that." But by the time obviously I got home, I came to my senses.
I
But
want one of
it
those
would
too.
be fun.
Yeah, it would be fun. I found them at the store, at the Chandrilla. I don't remember the name of the store, but at the ship store, I
Oh,
found it. I
okay.
looked at it, the same one that they had at the training, but the
Yeah.
sable, just the sable, was 59 credits, and then you have to buy the hilt, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't even want to know how much this is going to cost. No.
Yeah. And was it on sale out of curiosity when you were
Yeah.
on there? Yeah, it was
Sale
on
was
sale when
50%.
we were there. I think it was 30% off or something, and it was still expensive because I was very
Everything.
tempted, but because I did Savi's, I didn't get both.
Right, that's exactly how I felt. I'm like, you know what? I already have Savi's one. I'm gonna stick to that one. Yeah, this is too much. They had cool. I like that the store looked very thematic. Like there was you didn't find like a sweatshirt. It was
Yeah,
mostly
yeah, it was
stuff
all
that you would. Yeah, so
yeah,
that was
and
cool.
not a whole lot in there. It was very cherry picked, wasn't it? What was in there?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But they had a nice selection of things that you
Oh
could.
yeah, for sure. And different sort of things. Like Amanda bought the jewelry that was in
Yeah,
there, the fancy jewelry, and um, my other daughter bought us the coasters with the Chandrilla thing on and things like that. Yeah,
right, right,
it
right.
was a good little selection.
Nice. Yeah, the store was nice, and the people were so nice in there. I
Oh,
I wonder if you feel that this is one thing that I noticed even from day one. Too much staff.
there was a lot of staff, right? I
I'm like,
wondered whether it was because they say that basically you can let your kids run riot and that there's always a staff member like watching them. Like in all the groups that I'm in, that's what they were saying. Just let your kids go and do whatever because the staff members will watch them. I wondered whether that was why there were so many because there did seem to be a lot of staff.
yeah, just standing around doing absolutely nothing,
Yeah,
just like
and
in the
chatting with each
line.
other or, yeah,
Yeah, that I
yeah,
noticed. I was like, maybe if they cut down on the staff, they can lower the price a bit because
right?
I
Yeah.
loved it, but this is hard to do again. you
Oh,
know?
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
do you want
All
to go
right.
to do you want to do
Yes,
spoilers? Okay.
let's do
So we have
spoilers.
we have to warn you that we're going to spoil it big time this time
Big
around.
time.
Last
Yeah.
time we didn't spoil it big time, but this time is for the people that do not care about spoilers, or actually I have people that like spoilers. I have a friend of mine that I talked to today, and she asked me how was it, and I didn't want to tell her, and she said no, I'm not going to go ever, I'm never going to go, so you can spoil it. And then when I spoil it, she goes like, you know what, now that you talk to me, now that you told me, maybe I can get a group together. It was cool. So there's people that like spoilers. So
Yeah, and we haven't talked about it together. So yeah, the spoilers are going to be heavy. I'm going to put up a thing, like a graphic saying spoilers,
okay,
just in case anybody sort of, clicks through the video and then,
right.
we're
Okay,
going to
but
get yelled
before
at.
we do spoilers, just so that the people that want to not watch anymore can go
Yeah.
ahead and turn it off. Let's do the game.
Okay.
And then we'll do spoilers. So this week we are going to guess who this meeple is. And if you know who this meeple is, from what game, let us know in the comments below. Try not to spoil it for everybody else, so try to put your comment really low. So the meeple is called Rugwort. 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 Am I saying it right?
Oh, I think so, yes.
Okay, so if you know what game Rugwort is from, and it's a very popular game. If you want to know the clue, I'll give you another clue after spoilers.
Okay.
But for now,
I'm wondering if I know. Would it be a video game as well?
nope.
No. Okay.
Not
Because
that
I
I
feel
know.
like I've heard the name in a video game. Maybe it's a similar name. Okay.
Maybe.
I don't know what it is, so
Okay. I'll give you guys a clue at the end, if I remember, if we remember. All right, so here is your spoiler sign.
yes, burp, burp, burp. Spoilers. Big spoilers.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do it. The one mission I want to know about is the Ray mission, because I feel
Okay.
like that one was super special, and I looked for Ray everywhere in the fourth floor, and I could not find her. Please tell me, where was she?
Oh, do you know what? We found her in a corridor. She was just waiting in a corridor. We walked around the corner and there she was. And Aria, obviously, who adores Ray, was just like, oh my God.
Okay, but in a corridor where? In the fourth floor?
Yeah,
With,
I think so.
by the climate area?
Oh, do you know what? I
Oh,
can't remember where it was. I've got photos of where it was.
okay.
Um,
I really look for
yeah.
her. And this is why I'm asking you. I went on the fourth floor by myself. I was alone. And I looked everywhere where I had access to. And then when I went to the climate area, I don't remember the name of
Mhm.
it, but the place that there's like an
Yeah, the
outside area.
outdoor. Yeah.
There was a door that was locked the first day, but
Okay.
that day it actually opened, and it was the door that led us to back two, where we get the transport to back two.
Okay.
And it opened, and I was like, well, fine. And I started walking down the corridor. I'm like, I'm going to find her. She's here. But then, of course, I get the GVG. I don't like to go. I don't like to go against the rules.
Yeah,
And one
same.
of the crew members was like, "Okay, lady, we're not gonna go down there." So I turned around and I went back, but until today, I'm thinking, what if she was there, and if I would have just said something like, "Well, I lost my luggage" or whatever, something in character,
Yeah.
it would have let me get over there and see Ray.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe that door shouldn't have been open. No, she was out. She was literally out in the open. The only time she was away is when she went into the mission room, which was, I think it might have been the room maybe where we did lightsaber training.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was just a normal room. It wasn't anything fancy that you've missed out on or anything.
Okay. See, I never
Yeah.
went back to the lightsaber room because it was locked. I didn't have access to it.
Yeah, they opened certain rooms though. Did they do that for you? Obviously, if you had a mission, that room was sort of demarcated as that's the room that, we all go into and we have a chat or whatever.
Well, the first mission that I did, it was hacking into the engineering room, which I think everybody got
Okay.
access to that.
Yeah.
So, and I noticed that you also needed to hack into the brig, and you also needed to hack into the cargo bay room.
Yeah.
I never got access to either the brig or the cargo bay. I went in the cargo bay, but it wasn't because I had access. It was because somebody in my party, in the group that was there, and I was the one that was, because what happened was we met with the captain. The captain told me, hey, I want to have an individual meeting with you at this time, and I went down there in front of the cargo bay. She told me cargo bay, but the cargo bay was locked. So in front of the cargo bay area, and then the I think it was the lieutenant interrupted the meeting. So she took the lieutenant into the cargo room that was locked, and they started talking in there. And all of a sudden, it got quiet, and we're outside waiting, all 6 or 7 of us. So I go like, one of you guys has access to the cargo bay, right? Open the door up. We need to know if the
Yeah.
captain's okay. And then, of course, they opened the cargo bay area, and the room was empty. I don't know where they went, and that's how I got access to the cargo. But I did not have access myself. Did you guys get access to any of those?
No, well, I don't think I saw the cargo bay. I'm trying to think. I don't think I saw the cargo bay. I
It was
did
just a
get
room.
into the brig and into engineering, but
Mhm.
I don't remember. What did it look like? Maybe that will spur my memory.
So, first of all, where it was right in front of the when you go into the dining room, the main entrance to the dining room area.
Hmm.
You go into the dining room and you have to make a right. So, if you made a left, there was a door there that anybody could open.
Okay.
And then there was a little hallway, and at the end of that hallway, there was a door that was locked, and it said you needed access to it. And when you opened that door, it was just a small, tiny little room full of luggage.
Oh, I did go. I did go in there. Yes, I remember. It had like you could have spent time in there looking at the different things. Was that the one they had stuff in cages, like
Mhm.
artifacts and things like that? Yeah, I remember going in there because I spent some time in there looking at everything that was
Mhm.
in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a cool room, and you could also
Yes.
scan a lot of things there with your data pad, and
Yeah.
get some information there. Um,
Yeah.
so, but I never got to see Ray. I mean, I got to see Ray because everybody gets to see her, but I purposely looked for her because I knew that you guys had encountered her, so I was on the lookout for her.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, that's such a shame. So you didn't get to do that
Mhm.
story. Well, I can say now, can't I? Master Yoda appears as a hologram, and it just, I still don't know how they did it. It was magical. Came out of the holocron, and oh, it was really cool. I'm sorry, I don't want to rub it in, but
No, no, no. Go ahead. I
that was
want to
probably
hear
my
about this.
favorite thing, and that's because Aria, like you said, they did pay attention to the kids. I didn't even think about that until you've mentioned it, and
Hmm.
that is kind of annoying. Like, yeah, I can see why they're doing it because, like
Hmm.
as I said, Aria now, post trip, she still thinks it was all real. Like she brought in last week, she brought in her toothpaste, right, which is random, and it had Darth Vader on the tube, and she looked at it and she went, "He's still watching," and I was like, "How adorable!" Like she thinks Darth Vader is watching because he told her, "I'll be watching you." And
Wait,
it's just,
how did she talk to Darth Vader?
well, she talked to Darth Vader. I think I told you when we did the meet and greet thing in the actual park.
Yeah.
Um, and or Tracy had said to the staff, um, we've just done the cruiser, and she helped Chewbacca. And then Chewbacca acted like, "Oh my God, it's you guys that saved me," blah, blah, blah. And then when she
Um,
met Darth Vader, they'd obviously told him as well. And he was like, "You put too much faith in the light side of the Force. I'll be watching you."
okay.
All sort of to tie it all in. So it was pretty cool.
Okay. So, because I remember you mentioning that there was a character that you had met and you told the staff. So that was Chewie that you helped
Yeah,
escape.
Chewy. Yeah.
Okay. You guys helped them escape. And again, I that's the one mission where I try to follow because hey, there's Chewie. Let me see where this goes. But the kids kind of over like
Oh,
they were just doing this.
that mission was the same for us. It was madness in there, wasn't it? You actually went into the engineering, and
Hmm.
yeah, the kids just took over. I mean, I'm lucky because my grandkids, I mean, every grandmother probably thinks it, but they're very well behaved.
Hmm.
You know, they're not dicks. right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
on our voyage, there were a family that they just didn't care what their kids did, and
Mm-hmm.
those kids ended up ruining things for numerous people. They
Mm-hmm.
just were a nightmare the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And even Ray, I mean, there was a mission at one point, nothing to do with Ray. There was a mission at one point with a bag that needed to be given to somebody. I can't remember.
The luggage, the coaxium.
The luggage.
Yeah, the
And
coaxium.
these kids appeared out of nowhere and stole it. They literally took it mid-story while they were talking about it, and
Okay.
we couldn't find it. And they literally had to pull these kids aside and say, "We need it back. It's part of the story.
Oh
Like,
wow.
you need to show us where you've put it." They
That's
were a
brilliant.
nightmare. Yeah. Even
So,
Aria and Jackson were like, "Those kids are really bad."
yeah.
Yeah. So if that happens on your voyage, that is a nightmare. Like,
Right. Right.
yeah.
What did you think of Gaia? Gaia, by the way, is the performer that's on the ship. What do you think of her performance?
I thought she was great. I don't know whether you got the same one as we did, but very talented lady. Yeah,
Yeah.
and very friendly as well. She
Mm-hmm.
actually had a interaction with Amanda where Amanda had found this lightsaber, right? I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to spoil anything. But Amanda found a lightsaber just laying on the floor or sitting on a chair or something. And she took it over to guest services and said, "I think someone's left this."
Mm-hmm.
And that led to Gaia befriending her and saying, "You're a very honest person that you handed that in." So we couldn't work out whether or not that was like put there on purpose or whether, someone genuinely left it. But it
Okay.
led to Amanda being like Gaia's best friend, and she was in the end bit where they mentioned a few people. That Amanda was mentioned in that for being honest and like a good shipmate or whatever.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
You know, I was trying to think of ways like something that could have made the experience even better than it already
Hmm.
was.
Yeah.
And I was talking, like I said, I was talking to my friend earlier, and I think the one thing that it would have made me even more emotional
Hmm.
and really like broken me down was if this voyage was set in the Galactic era instead of the First Order era.
Yeah.
And I understand why they're doing it on this era. These are the new movies, and the kids know these movies. But my heart will always be with, like
Yeah.
I was thinking, if instead of Rey and Kylo, this final battle would have been between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader,
Oh,
I would have had a heart attack.
right.
There,
Yeah.
there would have been no containing me, And my friend was like, maybe that's what they should do. They should switch the stories, and make it so that other characters appear. Because if I'm telling you, I would have gone bunkers if this was
Yeah.
all about, like, if instead of that droid that was up there, it would have been R2D2,
Oh, right. Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
C3PO comes running, like the guy, the lady, the droid on the computer thing. If it would have been,
Yeah.
if it at least would have looked like C3PO, oh my gosh, I'm
Yeah.
talking to
I totally agree. Yeah. That would have been way better. And I don't mind Ray. I don't mind the new movies with her in. But yeah. I mean, nostalgia, right? But I think the problem is it ties into other things in the park, doesn't it? So it's hard to do that. Like Kylo's in the Rise of the Resistance, isn't he? He's
right.
like the antagonist in that. So
Yeah,
for
yeah. The
Kylo to
whole
exist, then
the
yeah,
whole back too is based on the First Order
yeah,
arriving on the planet. But again, I remember before Star Wars Land was created, I got a message from somebody, I don't remember who, that had the plans for the Star Wars Land. And the
yeah,
plans were as follows. There was Hoth, there was a little space that was Tatooine, there was every Dagobah, every planet that we know. And when they made Star Wars, after I'd seen those, I'm like, well, wait, what happened? Like, I wanted to go from
yeah.
Hoth to Tatooine. That
Oh,
would have totally killed it for me. Not that I
Yeah.
don't enjoy Batu, I enjoy it. But again, my era would always be the Galactic era, and that's the things that would have broken my heart if I would have seen any of that.
Yeah.
But I understand. I understand they had to do it like this. I'm fine. It's okay. I live with it. But
What
just
did you
thinking
think
about
of that last battle that was on there? It was
that
so
was
well
amazing.
done, wasn't it?
Super well done. Super well done. When she got pulled by the force and she just, I'm like, oh. And I even think I've seen it on video, but it's not the same that seeing it.
No.
And just when people shoot and you see that it's actually creating an impact around the room,
Yeah.
it's like, hold on a second, they thought of all of this? Like,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just this, like, the stunt work involved, like, when he grabs her and smashes her face into the
Yep.
thing.
It goes
Aria
boom.
was devastated when that happened. She was
Yeah.
like, "Oh my God, is she okay? Is she okay?" Not realizing that obviously it's just
It's
stunt
No,
work.
but let me tell
But
you, this Ray character, first you have to find someone that looks like Ray, which is not
yeah,
easy.
and
Then you
she
have to
did.
find, she did. Then you have to find someone that talks or can
Yes,
imitate that accent.
and she
Then
did.
she did. You have to find someone that can act, and is clever. And you have to find someone that's acrobatic. Because let me tell you,
Yep.
those, I can't do
Right,
that.
and the lightsaber skills as well.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm guessing Ray is always the same one because I think it's going to be really hard to find 2 or 3 people that can replace or do the same thing. That one to me was the most incredible, well put
Yeah,
together character out of all of them because anybody can be Chewy.
yeah,
You just need a tall person, but you can do it. And the rest of the cast, we already know that they rotate. There's different actors, which I think it's okay. And that's why on the data pad, like right now, after I got out of the Starcruiser, my images are not shown anymore. It's probably
yeah,
because yeah, they've been, which is okay.
yeah. But did you find that the cast were like you said, you're quiet. You're like me. You don't like to break the rules and you don't
Right.
like to interrupt and all that kind of thing. And I remember when we were in engineering when it was just manic, absolute madness with all the kids, doing all the different things. And my whole family were all helping, like doing switches and things. And I just sat on a box because my arthritis was playing up and it was dead sore. So I just sat on a box. And Chewy came over at one point and put his hands on my shoulders and was like, like, "Are you okay?"
That's
Which is
cute.
just adorable.
They were amazing. I had such a
Yeah.
blast in the engineering room because they separate you into different areas and they put like 4 people or 2 people depending on what you're doing. And in my case, it was a 4 people team to do the switches. But then it was me alone and then a family of 2 adults and 2 kids. Well, no, I'm miscounting. 2 adults. I don't know. The thing is, the half of the family had to leave because they had to go to the bathroom. I don't know. The mom took the kids, so
Oh,
so
wow.
I ended up with just 2 people running a 4-person job, and I had to get flexible. Like I had to like one hand on the switch, another hand on the switch, and then my foot up on another switch. It was hilarious. And then Lenka Mock, the director, she even had to mention it. She's like, I see you guys so committed. I even see people putting their legs up and trying to do the switches. It was amazing.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you did the you're reminding me now, memories are coming back. You did the bridge training.
Yes, we did the
Yeah,
bridge.
what did you think of that? That was pretty fun that you got to go around and do the different things.
Oh yeah, totally
Yeah.
amazing. Every little station had its own thing, and I love that they let you like first they let you practice, and then you do the real deal.
Yeah.
Because I needed the practice. There were some stations that really were like the one where you have to match the things were broken and to match all the buttons, and there were like 100 buttons. I'm like,
Oh, right. Yes.
I'm like, what is this?
I know
I
Tracy was next to me for that one, and she was doing hers because she's very analytical. She's very clever. She was doing hers and then leaning over it.
am doing yours.
That one.
Yeah, yeah. I needed
I'm
help
just
with
like,
mine too,
oh,
guys. I mean, I did great with the weapons, aiming and all of that. I got to aim. My friend got to shoot. The shields I loved. I loved how I was able to go around the whole table and help everyone else. That was
yeah,
really cool. The cargo, grabbing the cargo, that was a lot of fun. I
that
loved
was
that one.
fun. Yeah, I like that one.
But the one with all the switches, I'm like,
Yeah.
you need to give me 5 minutes here to like analyze this thing. It's crazy.
So I need to know, like, what missions did you actually do? Like, obviously, you've heard me talk about the Ray mission. What missions did you get pulled into? What things did you do?
I think the one that was the most special was the one where the captain told me, "Hey, I need to meet with you secretly because you seem to be like part of like willing to go with the resistance." I
Yeah.
think that was my coolest one. The rest were like getting the coaxium from the ride, like I told you, and the person
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, okay, you have the coaxium, great." Like,
That's
I
so
went
weird.
I went to
Yeah.
Olga's Cantina and we did a mission there.
Yeah.
Um, but I didn't like it was. I honestly thought that I had just done the basic missions, but then I've been going online and trying to see what did I miss, and I can't find much that I missed. I did
Okay.
miss the one things that I missed was obviously the Ray thing, and also putting Chewie on the brig. I wanted to go down and follow, but again, it was just so many people that I
Many.
was like, it's okay. I know where he's going to be. And then I wanted to go down and see if he was still on the brig. By the time I got down there, he wasn't there anymore. And then I found out that they had rescued him, and then you
Yeah.
have to help him escape on the brig, on the bridge, which we did. um so yeah, I don't know, I'm not sure what I missed because I missed it.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Did you interact with the sorry, did you interact with the singer? Not the alien singer. It was probably a guy with face makeup. Did you interact with him at all?
There was a
He had a
singer.
guitar. I think he had a
Oh, the
guitar.
guitar, Sandro. Well, I mean, on my cruise he was called Sandro. I
Sandro.
didn't get to. I really didn't.
Oh,
I wanted to because the guitar looked really cool. I love his little amp. How he, like he was just around the ship, going everywhere, and the little amp like sounded really good. And I was trying to figure out: is it a guitar? Is it a banjo? What in the world is he playing? It's so cool. Um,
yeah.
but no, he
Oh,
wasn't.
that's so sad.
Yeah,
Because remember, I said to you, there's one character that I think you guys will really enjoy the interaction with. It was him, but I didn't want to spoil it either in case it just organically happened. But
happened.
um, yeah, he was a big part of our thing because he remembered us because, as I said, there was 4 generations of us on that cruise, and every time he saw us, it was a big smile and a wave and 4 generations. And we actually sat and helped him write a song. Um,
Oh,
like that's what I thought you guys would have really enjoyed because
of
you're
course.
musical.
Yeah,
And
I'm a
we sat and
songwriter.
helped him write a song, and it was to help him woo the girl that played the keyboards. It was to help him woo her, and the words in it was so funny. And he
Wait, he liked
just
her? I didn't even know he liked her.
oh, there was a whole love story going on.
I
Yeah, he liked
never
her.
knew. Really? Well, she was kind of
Yeah.
cute. That fish face,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we helped him write a song, and then he sung it in front of like a little crowd, and oh, it was wonderful. It's
Did
such a
you
shame.
did you get the Gaia autograph? Did you go when Gaia was giving out autographs?
I didn't bother. I think maybe Jackson did. I can't remember, but yeah,
Okay.
I didn't bother.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you?
I went, and then Sandro, the guy, that's how I remember, the guy with the guitar started playing, and I was like, I'm exhausted, and Gaia's not coming. And I saw people with like little pictures of Gaia for her to sign, and
Mhm.
I'm like, I have nothing for her to sign. Like, what am I gonna do? So
Oh,
I just went,
okay.
yeah. So I just left. I went to rest a little bit because I knew that that night was all the way until like 11 o'clock. They had us eating.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a busy thing. I mean, like, given that it sounds like between us, we probably did quite a lot of the stuff that was on there, but there is a lot to do given that there's not much to do, if that makes sense. Like if you go and do everything, like when you were on bar two, did you go around and you scanned all of the cargo and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do all of it, but I did, and then I did. I was just scanning and going boom, boom, boom because it was hot. Although
Yeah.
in the morning it wasn't that bad, but then when I came back home and I was reading, there you can scan, well, mostly you can scan and you can tune the antennas. And
Okay.
when I came back and I started reading the antennas, the messages that I got from the antennas, it was actually so cool. But then I did 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, so I never got the whole story. And like, dang it,
Yeah.
I wanted to know what happened. But I think I might be wrong, but I think all that stuff is still on my data pad. So I think if I go back
Oh,
to back
I would
to
assume so. Yeah. Yeah, I would assume so.
yeah, because all of my equipment that I got, my titles that I got, all of it is still on the data pad. How do you guys do with titles?
I can't remember. I had quite a few things filled out in mine, but as you say, as soon as we left, it was just all blank again, and just like your profile, it wasn't, it didn't store it post thing. I'm assuming you need to be on the Star Cruiser for it to show up.
My profile is still
Let me
intact.
check. I've got it right here.
Yeah, my profile is still intact. I know that I can no longer access like the events and stuff, but I'm able to access my profile. Oh, check it out.
Oh, okay. Well, I will check it out right now. Your datapad is out of range. Will become fully functional when you arrive at Black Spire Outpost. Oh, here we go. So this is mine. I don't know what it all means. Can you see that?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So I see you still have it there. Oh, you made a ton of money.
Equipment. I have quite a lot of equipment.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. That I think that if you go back, okay, I think if you go back, you can continue where you left off.
Yeah, because I
And
just noticed then some of the equipment's like grayed out. So obviously I
right,
didn't collect certain things.
right, you can still collect those. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that again is one of those things. Like next time I go to back two, it's not going to be the same. I'm going to have extra things that I can do now that I've been to the Star Cruiser, and that's great. I used to go to back two all the time. So I mean, now after the pandemic, I haven't gone very often, and with increasing prices and everything. But if I ever start going back, it'll give me
Yeah.
stuff to do. So that's great.
I know. I see people in the groups that I'm on for the Star Cruiser and they go every weekend to Batu. And I'm like, oh, how lucky you are that you
Mm.
can just do that on a whim, because they've
Right,
got annual passes or whatever.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah.
is there anything else you want to cover?
No, just if you have the chance, go, because I also looked into the rumors, and yeah, it does seem like it's not going to last much longer. So
Yeah.
if they do turn it into just a hotel, you're gonna miss out on an experience of a lifetime. Let me
Yeah.
tell you, I was in back two, and I was on Earth, right? I was on, well, not on Earth. I was in back two, but I was in Florida, and I've been in back too many times, and I've heard the noises. This time around, there was a noise of a spaceship that went boom, and I
Right?
actually looked up to see, and there.
Yes, I did that as well.
But I've been there before, and I never looked because I know I'm still
Yeah,
in Florida. But there
because
was
you
something about
feel
being
like
on
you're
the
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's something about being on the Star Cruiser and how I arrived to back two and everything that I really thought I was in another planet. And how everybody treats you. I mean, it's quite an experience. I know it's a lot of money, um, but I saw it like instead of going to Europe, I'll just go to Florida.
Yeah. It's
and
amazing how many people do it multiple times as well, given that it's the same storyline. But on the
but it
groups
doesn't have
I'm
to
on,
be.
people
It
go
doesn't have
back.
right, but you. I mean, now, like when I went, I already knew a lot of things because of what you've told me, right? So I went to try and name the fish. I didn't get there on time. I also went to the store and I asked about the secret artifact, and I got to whatever. Well, now I'm going to spoiler. So I got to see the 4 pins where they were keeping them. Did you see them?
No.
Okay, I did this because you told me about it. So yeah, so if you guys go to the store, you can ask about the special artifacts. And this guy, I know around there's a centerpiece around the jewelry, a really cool, right? So he just went underneath it and put a little stick somewhere that looked like a stick, not a key or anything. And a piece opened up, and boom, there's 4 pins. Then he said, "Yeah, these are special, and they're for sale here." So we sported the pins throughout the whole journey. Then when we arrived in our home planet, at the store outside, when you landed before you get your car, there's a little store. I saw them there, and I'm like, "Wait a minute! I thought that was special." But I did that because so I did a lot of things, and I think if I ever go again, it would be a different experience, and I would be the wiser for it. So I can understand going again if you can afford it. It's definitely worth going multiple times and trying to catch the little things that you couldn't catch before.
Yeah, I am so sad that you didn't get to do the Sandro thing, because you guys would have loved that.
Yeah.
Like, if you could sing, you'd have joined in. It just, yeah, it was fun. That's a shame.
Yeah, well, I can't sing,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying. No, we didn't see much of Sandra, to be honest. We only saw him when Gaia was around because he was playing for her, but we didn't see him around the ship or anything.
Oh,
So
really? Maybe because he made a point of, like, even if we were at the other side of the main area,
to come
and he walked in and saw us, he made a point of, like, calling out to us or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, that was the guy that, like, I was sent to distract Lieutenant Croy, the Empire guy or First Order guy. And I was yelling. That's the one. Just because I said I was going to say it, and I was yelling up to. He was up on the upstairs.
Yeah.
And I was yelling at him, trying to distract him, which I did a horrible job at distracting him. By the way, terrible job. But I told him that they were fighting over whose luggage, because Gaia needed to. It was Gaia's luggage that had gotten. They were trying to sneak it out because the coaxium was in there. And I told him, no, there's a passenger that claims that it's her luggage. And he's like, no, that's Gaia's luggage. He needs to be returned to her. And I'm like, well, I don't know. The passenger claims it's hers, whatever. So then we leave, and I'm at dinner, and he happens to be around, and he comes over to me and he says, hey, did the luggage ever get returned to whoever it belonged to? And I'm like, I think it did.
Yeah.
So things like that, they make you feel so special. It's 3 words. That's all you had to say. Well, I didn't count them, but a few words.
Yeah.
That's all it was. That's all it needed to happen.
And you did mention earlier your Croy was quite serious.
Oh, my droid. I
Your
had
Croy,
so much.
your First Order guy. He was
Yeah,
quite serious.
he was.
Our guy was hilarious.
Really?
So that's weird. Yeah, he was. He was funny. He was just like taking the mickey out of everybody. He was just, he was funny. He wasn't really serious.
Really?
Yeah.
No, our guy was, I would say, pretty serious. He just thought everybody was resistance.
Yeah. Well.
And granted, most people, I think in our trip, because at the end he mentioned who helped him, and I think it was 6 people out of the 100 and whatever.
It was probably the same on ours, to be honest. Most people were, but those kids that I mentioned, the nightmare kids, they helped them. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's why they stole the bag and all that kind of thing.
Right.
But
yeah. Oh, the droid. Yeah. Did you have the droid sing you a lullaby?
Yeah.
And how was that? Because I didn't get to that.
Oh, the kids just loved it. I can't even remember what it was, but it was like it read them a story.
Read them
like
a story or sang?
Like a bedtime story, I think. Did it sing?
No.
I'm trying to think if it sung.
So there was
I can't remember.
my droid gave me a choice. Do you want to hear a bedtime story or do you want me to sing you a lullaby?
Oh, I
I
think they maybe chose story then.
see. My plan was I chose story, but I wanted to choose lullaby the next day because I really wanted. Like then I was like, damn, I wanted to hear her sing. What did I do? Why did I picked the wrong thing? Although the bedtime story was hilarious. I don't know if you heard it, but she told us the original movies, but instead of Luke Skywalker being the hero, R2D2 was the hero of the whole story, and she made it. It was so genius. Like I loved it, and it made me think how even in history that happens. You know how history
Oh,
can
for
be.
sure.
Yeah, it depends
Yeah.
who's telling the story, and there might
Right.
be a lot of history even of our history that's been, you know.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, I loved
because
that droid. It was really good though, wasn't it? The kids loved it. Every time we went back into the stateroom, they needed to speak to her.
yeah, yeah, she was
Yeah.
she was great. She was great. Sometimes she couldn't understand what I was saying. I don't know if it was the accent or if it was
Okay.
just hard. Like maybe I used too many words. I don't know. Sometimes she was on point. Sometimes I would say something and she
Oh,
would,
she
which will
was really
happen.
good. She was good for us, and we had Scottish accents and Australian accents in there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was really like amazed at how good that AI was.
It was pretty good. I was very impressed too. But there were a
Yeah.
couple times where she couldn't understand. She would just stare at me blankly, and I had to like yell at her. And I'm like, I already answered you. What's your problem?
Were
And
you
so that's
worried about her though as the story went on and she ended up in trouble? Were you concerned? Because
of
the
course,
kids were really concerned. They were
of
like,
course,
it was like she'd become part of the cruise.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I talked to
Yeah,
her so many times that I thought that we were buddies. Like
yeah,
yeah, it was crazy how invested you are over a screen.
right, yeah,
I look forward to talking to her every time I went back in the room, see what
yeah.
else she had for me. Because there was one time where she made me, you probably did it too, negotiate so that we could go through the nebula, and I had to negotiate the price down. I don't know if you did that or not.
I don't think so. I don't remember that.
No. And then there
Yeah.
was a time where she made me go through some kind of, she gave me a story and I had to choose. So you're in back two and you see this tree and you go over to the tree, but there's some stormtroopers and the stormtroopers want to see your identification. What do you do? So of course,
I don't remember that either. That's weird
no.
because the kids talked to that thing incessantly when we were in the room at night.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I had the chance to. The person I was with didn't care about the droid, so I was the one always interacting with the droid because, like I told her, this droid pays more attention to me than the characters on the ship.
Oh,
so, so I'm going
that's
for
such
it.
a shame.
No, it was great. I was like, you don't need to see my identification. And she was
Yeah.
like, oh, I never thought of using the force. So you're so clever and this and that. I'm like, how did you know? I'm like, oh, they're weak minded. It was great. That interaction was yeah. That alone was worth the trip.
Oh, the attention to detail on everything is just astonishing. Did you like how all of the crew would say "my honor"? Like when they did something, we were
Yeah.
saying that for like days after we got home. My honor.
Yeah. My honor. And safe journey. I still
Safe journey.
I went to Walmart today, and when I went through the guy that reads your ticket, I'm like, "Safe journey." He looked at me like, "What?" I'm like,
Gold.
yeah, it was great. The every crew member was on point with all of it. So and so
Yeah.
nice. I had a blast, and I think we've talked
Awesome.
about it
Whew.
so much that you guys understand how much of a blast we had. If we didn't
Yeah.
convince you last time, we definitely convinced you this time.
Oh, it's magical. I mean, I'm really glad. I was worried, um, only because of, like I say, having the kids there, the grandkids, and a lot of times, like I mentioned when you were interviewing me about it, I was crying, but it was generally because of the looks on their faces or the magic of something, or like I am devastated for you that you didn't get to see the Yoda thing with Ray. And Colin did the same. he missed it, and I said to him, "You would have just it was magical, like adult
Mhm.
or child, just
Mhm.
wonderful." Like if ever you go back, you need to track her down.
But I tried to track her down, I
Yeah,
swear.
it's so funny though, isn't it? That like you really looked for her hard, and we basically went, Aria going, we need to find Ray, we need to find Ray, and we basically walked around the corner, and there she was.
Yeah. I looked everywhere. I went, except for the lightsaber room, I went everywhere I had access to. Yeah, because I knew that I could find her. It's like Chewie came down the stairs. I was standing right there when Chewie came down the stairs, so that was easy. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, what is this noise? I can't do the Chewie noises, but but Ray, I actively looked for and I couldn't find her, which was.
Oh,
But maybe you guys will find her when you go. And if any one of you has found her and knows where she's been hiding, please let me know in case I go back.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh, geez. Well, that's been fun. You
yeah.
feel like you've shared everything you wanted to share?
Yes, I think we've shared everything.
We've
Yeah.
milked it dry, haven't we?
Oh, by the way, the drink. Now that you said that.
Oh, is it the blue and green milk?
Yeah.
Okay. So I did know that it was there, but I'd actually had it when I was in Batu, and I didn't like it, so that's probably why
But the one
I
that is
didn't
in
get
back
it.
two has alcohol in it. Am I right?
Oh, does it? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I think so.
Oh, okay.
Whereas the
Oh,
one of the cruiser is for kids. It's really sweet though. Like I
oh,
only I had it because
it's so sweet, isn't it? Like my grandkids love sweet things, Jackson especially. Anything sweet, and he's all over it. And he drank it, and he said to me, "That's too sweet for me." And I
Mhm.
was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's definitely sweet. But you have access to blue milk and green milk the whole time you're there. That's pretty awesome.
yeah,
So
pretty good. The food, yeah,
food
so
was
good.
amazing. Really good.
Yeah,
And the presentation of the food, like the way it was like the I don't know, the shrimp the second night, how they came and it was all like steamy, like like that
yeah, yeah,
what in the world? And there was a snack where it came in a enclosed container, and when she opened it up like this,
oh
the
yeah,
smoke just filled your senses. It
yeah,
was delicious, and plus it was delicious. So
yeah, yeah. The
great
food
experience.
definitely a standout for sure.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
4 pounds.
It was worth it though, Annabelle. It was so worth it.
I agree. I agree. It's just that now I'm going hungry because now I miss my little trays and my little cool cups
Oh,
to get
do you
my
know,
my
I
drink.
wish they'd sold them because we would have bought them. They were so clever, weren't they? The way it all
So cool.
fit together.
Yep, so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and isn't it great that we end up talking about food at the end of the video?
I think we started talking about food as well, didn't we?
Best topic ever.
Best topic ever.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys on the next episode where we're going to talk about old games that are still cool in our collection. So stay
Yeah.
tuned for that one next
What? We're
time.
going to talk about board games,
Oh, right. What is a board game?
Annabelle? Yes, we'll be back to board games.
Yep, next time. Stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time. Play more games.
See ya.